You're watching Community Conversations, a ConcordTV production.
Hello, this is Community Conversations, a production and a podcast of Concord Community TV, or Concord TV. I'm Doris Ballard, your host, and I'm really excited to be with someone very special who's going to be talking about a big event coming up on February 1st and 2nd in Manchester. It is the New Hampshire Farm and Forest Expo, and that is University of New Hampshire Cooperative Extension with the New Hampshire Division of Forests and Lands and the New Hampshire Department of Agriculture, Markets, and Food. There, we're going to find out all about that, but the one who's here to talk about it is Amanda Gorg. I got that right. Yes, finally. Okay, Amanda, you are the head. You're the woman behind the scenes for this big event.
I am.
Right.
Yes.
So we're going to get right into it. There's so much to talk about. And when is it going to be held?
So first of all, it will be at the Doubletree by Hilton, Manchester downtown. They just changed their name. It used to be the Radisson, right. And it's at 700 Elm Street in Manchester.
And this is the 36th annual event, I understand. And so you are the event manager.
I am.
Right? The Exposition event manager.
Yes. I go by a lot of titles.
You do. I know.
Hey, you, and I will respond.
All right. So this is happening, and I guess you get about over 5,000 people that attend this two-day event, which is pretty exciting. And I'm hoping to go this year. So let's get right to it. February 1st, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. We'll be repeating this for people who are watching. And Saturday, February 2nd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And children 16 and under are free, $7 admission. Oh, but they can bring, is this true, they can bring something? Tell us about that.
They can, yes. Yeah. We have a partnership with the New Hampshire Food Bank, and if they bring a canned good, they get $1 off of their admission.
Wonderful.
And there is no limit, so everybody could get $1 off within the party. And we also have a special a special rate for Friday. If you come after 5 o'clock, it's only $5. So it's 5 for 5.
And that's per person over age of 17.
That's correct.
Right. Okay, so what is happening at this exciting event? And tell us first about the theme. I understand there's a theme called Cultivating Our Heritage to Preserve a Promising Future. What does that mean? I'm thinking I know what it means, but I want to be sure.
Well, I was going to say, what do you think? So what that is actually for is our exhibitors. If they can incorporate that theme, we give them, we judge. The board of the expo actually goes around to each booth, and if they incorporate the theme in some way, however they interpret it, we will mark them on a judging sheet, and the best booth actually they win a free booth for 2020.
Oh, exciting.
So it is exciting, and it gives a little competition. So there are some booths that really go crazy, and they'll design a whole booth around it just so they can save some money and join us again for the next year. So for this particular Cultivating Our Heritage to Preserve Our Promising Future is, so the board comes up with it at a meeting and everyone can interpret it differently. So what has somebody done in the past to preserve our future? So with trees, if you plant a tree, you're preserving the future. Sure. So you can do a lot of creative things. Same thing with a plant, or just how does your organization promise a better future?
Right. So it's very interesting, it must be, to see what they come up with and how they interpret that theme.
Everyone does it a little bit differently. And our theme changes every year. So it's wonderful to be able to see how creative people can get. So.
Well, let's hear about the participants, because we'll start with the trade show part of it, since we started talking about the theme and how they can be a part of that. So give us an example of some of the merchants that are showing at the trade show.
Sure. So we have a lot of for-profit and not-profit organizations that come. One of my one that I've seen before at other shows, like the Deerfield Fair. It's the homemade specialties. She's coming with her soups.
Oh,
I always
wow.
stock up whenever I see her because they're just delicious. But we have like Ben's.
She'll be giving samples of the soup?
She does give
oh,
samples.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
and they're delicious and they're warm and tasty. We have Ben's Pure Maple Products. We have
Yum.
Barns and Farms and Barn Real Estate. So there's a wide spectrum of organizations that come. We also have people who want to sell their goods. Like you can buy a tractor if you wanted to. We have, say, Frost Farm. They have tractors, New Boston Truck and Equipment. So it's got a little bit of everything for a wide group of people.
Oh. So what do you, as a participant, now you've only been doing this a little over a year, so
Yes.
but you've gone to the previous year.
I have,
right?
last 2 years.
So there must be some little, samples being given out at different places for those who create food or refreshments, that sort of thing.
There are. So we
Like
have
the soup.
The soup is one of them. It's my favorite.
Right.
We have roasted nuts as an option. The New Hampshire Food Bank actually has. They're bringing their food truck this year, and they'll have food.
So you have food trucks.
We'll only have one.
We have one.
And
Okay.
it's the New
All right.
Hampshire Food Bank. It's the Recipe for Success, their program.
Wonderful.
It is a wonderful partnership, like I said a little bit earlier ago. But we have even 4-H foundations there. They sell ice cream. So there is a lot of munchies as you go through the
So there is an
aisleways.
opportunity for them to sell some of the food so that they can make a little money for their organizations.
That
or
is
whatever.
correct.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
If you're just tuning in, this is Community Conversations. I'm Doris Ballard, your host, a production and a podcast of Concord TV. And my guest today is Amanda Gorg, and she is the event person who's helping to put on with a board of volunteers, right?
That is correct.
Put on this amazing event that's happening in February 1st and 2nd in Manchester at the former Radisson Hotel, which is now the Hilton.
Yeah,
right?
Doubletree by Hilton. Yeah.
And we'll be giving you all the information ahead. So if you want to go look for it, go to nhfarmandforestexpo.org and click on schedule so you're able to see all of what's happening in 2019. All right, free workshops. I know when we spoke before, you really were excited about the types of education that's going to be presented. Give us some examples of that.
Yeah, I'm a little biased. It is my favorite part of the expo. We have things this year. I feel it's a little heavy on the forestry, which is nice because every year it's a little different. So last year I think it was a little bit more towards the agriculture. So we have structural pruning for young trees, livestock guardian dogs, maple sugaring for beginners.
Well, let's back up to the...
I've got so many.
All right, go ahead. Livestock guardian dogs?
Yes.
So there's the dogs that
Work with
watch
sheep
over the
and
sheep and
exactly
Wow,
goats.
okay.
Yeah. So
All
it's
right,
if
keep
you
going.
want to own them and how to keep some predator species like a coyote away or a fox without using alternative methods. So we have Cooperative Extension is doing build a bat house and learn all about New Hampshire bats. I'm looking forward to that one. I think that will be really interesting. We do have seed starting. We have a session actually called Living with Coyotes.
Really?
There's more and more sightings for foxes and coyotes.
I see.
So it's been a popular topic to have at the expo.
Do people who own farms and come to this, do you see? Because it sounds like there's some workshops for people who do have a reason to go to find out, get some good information.
We do. We actually have a wide vast of audience participation, which is tremendous. From my perspective as the event planner, the expo has to have a lot of offerings, but so does the education. So we have somebody from a very beginner to a very advanced person. So we have the backyard farmers or someone who just wants to get into agriculture, or they want to get some hens, or they want to start a garden and they want to know how. So we have that group, but then we do have the other side. And how do you work with coyotes or very specific topics like that for those who are a little bit more experienced?
Okay. So any other workshops you want to just tease us with?
I also really enjoyed the idea of lowering your energy costs with solar. We have Revision Energy joining us, who will be talking about all the opportunities out there for solar and all the rebates that are available as well. So that will be another good session to attend.
So overall, how many approximately workshops do you think there are during the and now they repeated at all?
They are not repeated.
They're not repeated. Wow.
Yes. We have over 20 education sessions, and that seems to grow every year, which is great. And they're little snippets, so they're 45 minutes typically. You can go in and out. If you've heard what you want from one session, you can go to another. So it's really flexible and very casual.
Well, again, if you're just tuning in, folks, this is my guest is Amanda Gorg. She's the Exposition event manager for the New Hampshire Farm and Forest Expo, which is happening on February 1st, 9 to 8 p.m., February 2nd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and you can get all the information on nhfarm&forestexpo.org. Click on schedule. All right, so workshops, trade show, New Hampshire products.
Yes.
And you encourage people, obviously, we do the same here at ConcordTV, to try to support local growers or local merchants. So talk about what they can expect from those who are there to talk, representing New Hampshire products.
Sure. So we have a great partnership with New Hampshire Made. A little shout out to Alice and her team. They're terrific. And so we have some of their members joining us. We have organizations like Acre Fiber Farms, Beeline, LLC, and other relatively smaller but local, who, you know, the Beeline, she's got amazing products that are made from our friendly bees. And the Fiber Farm, Acre Fiber Farm, will have items from their own llamas and alpacas. So you can't get much more local than having the actual product come from your farm.
Will you have an alpaca there?
We do.
I understand you're going to have miniature horses as well.
We do. Live and Let Live Farm will be there, and they've got their mini horse.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. And there's fruit growers, perhaps, this year? Are they coming back?
We do.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of affiliate sessions that happen, and we have the New Hampshire Veg and Berry group that does join us, and they do an education session, and they do that every year too.
So what kind of animals are going to be there besides alpacas?
We've got
and the horses.
And the horses.
And the miniature horses.
We'll have goats, we have hens, baby chicks that you can actually hold, and they're so fuzzy and cute. We will have the New Hampshire School of Falconry there on Saturday, so they'll have their falcons and they'll do some shows. On Friday we have wildlife encounters, and they'll bring their creatures. So there's actually a lot of opportunity to interact with animals and have some hands-on experience with them.
Exciting.
It is.
The children must love that part of it, right?
Yes, they do too, but
and the
it's
adults
one of my
favorite.
They shouldn't have
I'm
all the
about
fun.
the baby chicks, that's for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Now, agricultural and forestry experts are going to be around during those 2 days. What do they bring to the table?
A lot.
The education, I would think.
The education, and they have no problem staying an hour later after the session and talking with somebody. UNH Cooperative Extension is a big partner of ours, and they bring a lot of educators. And they've got booths in the expo hall, but they're also in the education sessions. And it's just wonderful to be able to just pick the brain of somebody. I have just have a specific question, and being able to ask them, and they'll be able to get you an answer. And if they can't, they'll get back to you. This is, I think, a one-stop shop where you can actually approach somebody. You don't have to Google it, and you can actually find out.
Actually talk to someone face to face.
Actually talk to somebody. Yeah, so it's a wonderful, even that alone is just worth going.
And again, the organization is a nonprofit organization that's a New Hampshire Farm and Forest.
Correct.
That's producing this expo in its 36th year.
Yes.
All right, Kids Zone. You have we've talked about things for the kids. Is there anything we missed? Because I want to talk about Farmo, F-A-R-M-O, which is farming and forest, animals, rural characters. We'll talk about each one. Millions of laughs. And obvious fun. All right, so let's talk about the Kids Zone. How does Farmo come into play with that?
Sure. So Kids Zone is an area in the exhibit hall where kids have hands-on opportunities to play. So they'll be able to plant items. We have a little fishing station. So it's an opportunity for, because the expo hall is big. So kids sometimes need, and parents need a break every once in a while. And this is a wonderful opportunity to just have an educational moment without realizing it. We also have face painting though, and that's where Wildlife Encounters and the School of Falconry will be. So it's a great opportunity to interact just in a separate area from the rest of the expo floor. Farmo is put on, yes, by the expo. The woman who runs actually Farmo is from agriculture in the classroom, and Farmo is like bingo.
Aha. Oh, so they go around and they can get their card.
They do. So we have a booklet for them. It's an activity book, and they get questions. And at the end, you know, it's I don't want to give away in the questions for this year, but
Okay.
you know, the company will ask a question, and then you have to go find in the expo hall where that booth is based on the question, and
So
then you get
it's like an education, and you stamp their card.
yes.
And what do they get when they fill the card out?
So we have different levels of prizes. So you can get everything from a pencil to a t-shirt. So it's a wonderful opportunity just to be able to engage with the exhibitors, but also to learn something along the way.
Exciting. All
Yeah.
right. One thing, I mean, we talked about the animals, rural characters. What does that mean to Farmo?
So farms tend to have, when you think of rural New Hampshire, you think of farms and the stone walls and just the character that New Hampshire has. And
So
that's
it's
kind
that
of
type of character.
exactly,
Right.
yeah. So it's being able to refer to that. We have the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources. They're there with the Preservation Alliance. They actually participate in Farmo. And so they are able to give a different perspective of not necessarily a farm just about the animals, but it also has this historic sense, or why is it important to New Hampshire?
Wonderful. Now, if I asked you, what does millions of laughs mean?
That's pretty obvious. There's a lot of giggles along the way.
Yeah.
The questions are sometimes silly. It's a good time for families because typically it's not just the youth doing it, the whole family gets involved. So there are a lot of giggles along the way.
Now, that's a long day if they choose to come on a Saturday. It's different from Saturday to Sunday.
Friday to
Friday to
Yep.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Great. It's different from Friday to Saturday, right?
It is,
so,
yes.
So they have to pay for both days.
Yes.
But they can spend the day there?
Yes.
I mean, they can just, right, and will there be, refreshments for people to buy lunch or whatever?
There is. So the hotel does have their offerings, which is great. And they just got a renovation, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Great.
So they have some great couches and a great lounge, and it's homey and warm. Lots of blues and silver. It's just really a very pretty space now. Right. So they obviously can definitely go into the hotel and get lunch. We do have some sandwiches along the way, but nothing necessarily in the expo hall for a lunch.
So, but they can come back that day if they want.
You get your hand stamped.
You can go out and have.
Exactly.
So it's good for the economy for Elm Street.
Oh, definitely.
Right? People can go have something to eat and just come back.
I go and run to Ben and Jerry's and come back.
There you go. Okay. All right. Now I want ice cream. Okay. So, if you're just tuning in, you're wondering what this is all about, please save the date for Friday, February 1st, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, February 2nd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is happening. The New Hampshire Farm and Forest Expo is happening at the hotel. Used to be the Radisson, is now the Hilton. Yes.
Dollar by Hilton. Yep.
Yeah. And it's on Elm Street.
It is.
And parking.
Yep.
What's happening with parking? Because that's a lot of people coming. You have do you still have a bus?
Downtown still has a bus, and if you wanted to see that map, you can see it from our website. We also have the parking garage attached to the expo hall, and there is on-street parking.
Right.
So, and we do, if you park in the garage, there is a discount. We actually stamp and validate everyone's ticket, so it's $6 to park for all day. It's a great deal.
It's not bad.
No.
Pack up a lot of people in the car.
Yeah.
Right.
That too, yeah.
All right. Well, now you have awards that you give out as well.
We do.
You talked about naming awards. Tell us about that.
Sure. So the awards is a big tradition with the Expo and has been going on for decades. If you go to our website, you can see who's won in the past, and it goes all the way into the 80s. You can see everybody. But we have the Andrew Felkner Award, and that is to go for a person who is recognized to distinguished achievement in the fostering of economic advancement of agriculture. We have the Fred E. Bean Award, and that is to recognize an individual or an organization in the communications field that does effective coverage for both the agriculture and public issues affecting agriculture, and that does include forestry. And then we have our Stephen H. Taylor Leadership Award, and that goes to an agriculture profession who is currently working in the field and really bringing consumer awareness to an issue. Our last gentleman was Alan Eaton. He won last year from University.
Wonderful.
From the Cooperative Extension, and he does a lot of tick research. So he was a good pick.
And then you have some more awards we'll go through real quickly. Farms of Distinction, Green Pastures Dairy Farm of the Year, and the Tree Farmer of the Year Award.
That's excellent,
So are people there able to watch the recipients come and get their awards?
Yep, we have on a ceremony. There is a little fee to get into it because there's some munchies, and you get to meet some of the award winners, and we have some VIPs who do attend. So that is always a fun event.
I just want to mention in the few minutes we have left is that if people bring talk about the food bank, what's involved in that if they bring a non-perishable.
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so part of our entrance fee, if you bring a donated item, you got $1 off. Normally it is $7 to get in for anyone who's over 17. And if you bring if you bring a canned item, everyone.
We have 5 people in the family, bring 5 canned goods, you get $1 off each one.
Exactly.
But children are free.
Correct.
From 16 and under.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So what do you like best about this? Because before we wrap up, personally.
A tough one. Personally, I think it's a tie. I love seeing the animals, and it's great being even on one side of the expo hall and hearing the neighing of the horse. I love that. And the education sessions are just kind of my passion. I think that it's wonderful to be able to bring this kind of level of education to just the general public. And let them ask those questions of an actual person. So those are the two things. They're tied for me.
Okay, one final pitch for it. Amanda Gorg here, the Exposition event manager for the New Hampshire Farm and Forest Expo, which is happening February 1st, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., February 2nd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it's happening at the hotel. Used to be the Radisson, but now it's the
Doubletree
by Hilton on Elm Street in Manchester. So now, final pitch. How can they find out more about it?
Please come to our website. We actually redid it this year. It's beautiful. It's nhfarmandforestexpo.org.
Okay. Any final words from you, Amanda? Or are we ready to
I hope
hit the
to
ground
see
running?
you.
Yes, I do want to go. I know.
Invite all your friends.
We will, certainly. And we'll be putting something on our Facebook page about it. So
wonderful.
Then maybe others can share it. So
we will. Yes, definitely.
There you go. All right. Well,
awesome.
We'll have to like each other.
I love it.
Follow each other.
Follow each other.
Thank you, Amanda Gorg, the Exposition event manager for the New Hampshire Farm and Forest Expo that's coming up in February. So check it out, nhfarmandforestexpo.org. Right. And you have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in and catching us on Concord TV's Community Conversations.
You're watching Community Conversations, a ConcordTV production.